They built up for so long. That was 10 years to get to Thanos.
And now the Russo brothers are saying there is no plan.
Well, they don't have one. Kevin Feige, maybe he has one. He hasn't put all his cards on the table yet.
Are you a Kevin Feige worshiper?
You know what? I've met the man twice.
Probably a beautiful person.
Yeah.
I'm talking about these the last couple films he's made.
And
Even though Sam Raimi did
but
multiverse.
Yeah, and what I mean, I'm going somewhere with it. I've talked to him about, different things.
Kevin Feige?
Yeah, his, having a plan and everything. He has a plan, and they had a retreat recently where they plotted out all the movies that are coming out within the next, I guess, 5 to 10 years.
How long ago was this?
I think this was probably about, I'd say it was in the last 6 to 9 months.
How'd you have a conversation with Kevin fucking Feige?
This was at a Comic-Con. It was like 2 years in a row.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just walking. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody was really talking to him or anything like that.
Did he have that hat on?
Yeah, and I know what he looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm walking. I'm just like, I know you. And he looked like a guy who worked for Activision that I was talking to earlier. And I was like, you know what? You look like this guy works for Activision. And he was like, you know what? I think I might be. Like that. I was like, what's your name? And he turns around and says Kevin Feige on it. I was like, oh, shit.
Okay, this was recent. So that's beautiful to hear. That's breaking news, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else knows that.
And then I met him again the next year. I almost bumped into him. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And he was like, oh, no problem. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's Kevin Feige. Took a picture with him.
Did he remember you after a while?
Not really.
I wouldn't forget you. You have a beautiful voice.
But he, thank you. But yeah, he took a picture with me. He was totally cool.
And
but
he said they had the movies planned out.
Yeah, and he was telling me, I was like, well, how do you go about determining what characters you're going to use, or the different storylines and how all this stuff is going to come together? And he told me about the retreats, and he's on the phone with writers and constantly brainstorming and planning. He's like, we plan things out,
in advance,
yeah,
way
in advance. And so this is what he's doing now. He said, I think they have it up to like the next maybe 5-6 years. So he only he and a few select people know what's coming down the pike.
So back to my original question: do you think that's the best way to do it? Because let's be,
you can pivot.
Let's be unbiased here.
Okay.
Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi. A lot of Easter eggs with his old Evil Dead films, which were pretty funny and cool. Yeah. But what do you think? I mean, for No Way Home, Spider-Man, that was Feige, right?
Yeah. He pretty much all the Marvel TV that you're seeing now on Disney Plus, all the movies since Iron Man, that's him.
Iron Man 1?
Yeah.
Okay, I've liked most of them.
Yeah.
Everything on Disney Plus, I don't.
Yeah, and
but that's to a different audience, I think.
Well, especially Miss
for the
Marvel,
kids,
especially Miss Marvel, which we'll get to. But being unbiased, I think
don't hate on Miss Marvel.
You do have to have a plan of where you're going to go. Look at how Star Wars turned out, the original trilogy. I mean, not the original trilogy.
No, this last trilogy.
Yeah, the last trilogy.
Great fucking point.
And they had a story worked out for the first one, but then it was like, okay, well, you should have had